And good morning. Good morning. We welcome you to the Living Truth channel. Here we do a deep dive into truth that your way would be made sure, that your living would be abundant, and that your thought processes should be made clear and understandable. Today is June 22nd. This is recording number 852 entitled, Have You the Courage? Have you the courage? We grow up in neighborhoods or environments where we are instructed to be strong and be courage. Don't let anybody pick on you. And the thing about it is we're okay usually until we get out into the real world and we come to an imagination that there are other people that are stronger than we are. And maybe our courage will not match up or merit. So we are ever looking for ways to keep ourselves safe, keep ourselves strong, and to, as I say, live our best life. But today we're going to do a dive that hopefully is going to motivate you to dig deeper. As the scripture said this morning, it says that Isaac went into the land and he built an altar to the Lord. And in building an altar to the Lord, he began to worship the Lord there. And he did what? He told his servants to dig a well. So he's building and digging. That means he's securing himself, because when he hits water, he's going to be well off, nourished. And the altar he's building because of worship. Now, the one thing we need to look at is you can look at how something is done or why people do certain things, and you can ask a question in two ways. Why did he build an altar? Say, why did he build an altar? And we look at our world and you say, why do people go to church? They're building an altar. Isaac's building an altar and people are going to church, building an altar. But why? And two answers come. You build an altar because you were taught to build an altar. You were taught to go to church. You were taught to do this. So you build an altar. So you don't really have to pay attention to all of the rules and regulations and covenant things within the altar. But you do it because you were told to, or you were trained to. And the second way is because you believe in the reality. You believe in what's going to come from building that altar. So you see, if you read a little bit further back, you find that God, the presence of God, comes to Isaac and says, I am the God of Abraham, and as I was with Abraham, so will I be with you. So Isaac has what? He has a communion. He's communing with God, so therefore now we know he's building an altar, not because his father Abraham has instructed him that this is the way. He's building an altar because he has struck pay dirt. He has been able to make contact with this which his father has taught him. And therefore, the question is asked from me to you, the listener. Do you have the courage? Do you have the courage to build your best life, or do you have the courage to go past building your best life to making contact with the life that is best? Do you have that courage? Joshua 1:9. Have I not commanded thee? Be strong and of a good courage. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed, For the Lord thy God is with thee whithersoever thou goest. This is Joshua. Joshua is saying, have not I commanded you to do this? Is he commanding them to do this because it's the way of the Israelite, the way of the Hebrew? Or is he commanding them to do this because he has found something that he knows that they can share in? And he's saying, I commanded you. I'm commanding you. Why? I'm commanding you because he has proven that this is real. He says, be strong and of a good courage. Don't be strong in eking out your best life, because you may be able to do that. You may be able to amass millions and billions or just that life that lets you live your best life. But are you going to be satisfied? Is it going to satisfy you? It says, be strong and of a good courage. He's saying, seek after that which I have sought and I have found. Seek it with your whole heart and be strong. Don't give up. Be not afraid. I brought this out a few weeks ago. You ever notice that when the Spirit of the Lord shows up to somebody, usually in the New Testament, what's the first thing that it says to them? Don't be afraid. Why? Because they are entertaining. They are witnessing something that they're not used to. It's out of the ordinary, but it's coming to do what? Help them. Something within them has reached out to contact. Now the contact comes, but it comes in a way that they're not used to. So it says, don't be afraid at the coming of the Lord, but don't be dismayed that it's what? Coming to hurt you, harm you. Don't be afraid that it's coming to punish you. How many times have you heard people talk about the Lord coming to punish you? I was talking to a man the other day, and I asked him, how was he doing? Guess what he said? Better than I deserve. Oh, my goodness. Where have you heard that before? Go to just about any church, and you'll hear it. Lord, we don't deserve. Lord, we don't know why you did it, but you did. Lord, we know we're not worthy. I'm doing better than I deserve. No. Neither be dismayed. Why? For the Lord thy God. The Lord who? Thy God. Not for the Lord is doing. The Lord your God, personal to you, is with you whithersoever thou goest. So how can I be doing better than I deserve if the Spirit of the Lord is with me wherever I go? And the Lord is my God. You know, sometimes I'm a little jealous of David, because it says David sat and contemplated the Lord as a young child. Y'all get that? We usually don't contemplate the Lord till when? We get in trouble. And we contemplate him for one reason, usually. What? Get me out of this. David sat around while his dog was making sure that the sheep were resting or whatever, and David is doing what? The Lord is my shepherd. As we found earlier, it says in one of Psalm 34, it says, the angel of the Lord encampeth around you. Come on. The angel of the Lord encamps. That means he's dedicated. Now, if he sets his camp up on the north, how can he see what's east, west, and south? That means he's always aware of whatever can come in, right? Have I not commanded you? Be strong and of a good courage. What? Contemplate the presence of your God being with you everywhere that you are. And the angel of the Lord will at some point be seen encamping above me. Therefore, now he can see north, south, east, and west, can he? And he has one purpose. What? To watch over me. So therefore, how can I be living better than I deserve if God has dedicated a presence to be with me whithersoever thou goest? So as I rise up to leave from here and go to the next place, what is the angel of the Lord doing? Hello? Hello? So the question comes, wherever I am? Yeah, wherever, ... What does ... mean? To be continued. So what is my responsibility? To be aware, to not look for the result or the effect, but to be aware. My mind shall consciously be on his presence. Where is his presence? With me everywhere. You mean I have to do this? I had a lady ask me this about a month ago. She says, you mean you do this all day, every day? I said, yep. She said, for how long? I said, till you believe it. Because if you do it over and over and over, what's going to happen? It's going to become a part of your behavior. When it becomes a part of your behavior, you will probably get a feeling, get a hearing, get a movement, get a something that says, he's with me. As I spoke to my wife the other day, I said, how many times have you been somewhere and what you needed was there? Someone walked up, something did something, somebody said something, something happened, and what you needed came about. Do you think you were just lucky? No. That thing showed up because somewhere within you gave a prayer, a need, a desire. And the presence of the angel around you says, let me make this happen. You forgot it. You with me? You forgot it, and which allowed it to come into your environment. But if you're thinking about it all the time, I need, you're keeping it away. You're keeping it away. That's why was it Elmer Fudd? Blah, 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 blah. Then he changed it to what? That's all, folks. You see, you have to allow this to happen. Now we're going to talk here a little bit about a story that I saw, and it helped me. A little puppy and a lion. They're both taken in as pups. And they grow up. But the puppy is a domesticated animal. So it kind of knows that it kind of owns the environment. And it kind of trains the little baby cub, lion, to do what it wants it to do in the household. So the little lion just follows it around, and anytime the little puppy gets upset, it might growl at the lion, and the lion, not knowing who he is, does what? Conforms to the desire of the domestication. Doesn't know who he is, and during the course of time, as they keep getting fed, they grow. But something happens with the lion. His growth seems to go 2 or 3 times that of the puppy, to the point to where it's huge. It's standing above the puppy grows up into a nice little dog, but the lion is 2 or 3 times the size, not knowing that if that puppy growls at him because he does something wrong, all the lion has to do is just hit him just a little bit with one of his paws, and it will probably destroy that puppy. But because he's been domesticated, he doesn't. And what does he do? He lives in the domestication of something that he is king over. What is it? His conscience has been relegated to follow. He lives in ignorance. And this ignorance becomes so monstrous that it incarcerates him in his own kingdom, not knowing who he is. But the kingdom, this is what you need to see. The kingdom is not this world like we've been incarcerated in the ways of this world, thinking that there are people out there that are stronger, that have more power, affluence, influence. We think that that's what's incarcerating us. But it's not. What's incarcerating us? Our ignorance of who we are. Our ignorance. It's sort of like the lion who was domesticated and was running around just acting like a lamb or acting like a whatever till he heard this roar. And he wondered what it was, and he went to see what this roar was, and he saw another lion who was not domesticated. And he realized, I look like that. Well, where is that roar coming from? Let me see if I can do that. And he lets out one, and he realizes, oh my goodness, this has been hidden within me. My question is, do you have the courage to roar? Do you have the courage to roar into an understanding of who you are? Or will you remain domesticated and screaming and hollering and asking God to come and help you when within you is the kingdom? As Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is within you. Listen to John 6:27. Jesus says, labor not for the meat that perishes, but for that meat which endures unto everlasting life, which the Son of Man shall give unto you, for he who hath God, for he who God has sealed. Labor not for a good life, y'all. Labor not to get your bills paid, to be able to go on vacation. Labor not for the meat that perishes. Labor not for the food that you eat it and it's gone. Or if you leave it out too long, it perishes or it goes away. It has no value. It says labor for that which is life eternal. Labor for that. That's the work. Do you have the courage? Are you willing to walk out on that limb, speaking the word of God as truth, and not caring if there's a tree over there holding the limb? Because neither the tree nor the limb are your security. The word of God has sealed you to be able to speak truth. And in speaking truth, you realize the Father is the root. Jesus is not talking about a physical root. He's saying the Father is the source. And he is the vine. How is he the vine? He is that spirit that was sent into expression to give relevance to give reality, to give visibility to the source. Have you the courage? He says, I am the meat that came down from heaven. Y'all thought Moses fed the children of Israel with the true meat? He didn't. The true bread? He didn't. He fed them with the effects of what he understood. Moses knew that there was an essence within every man that comes from heaven and feeds, nourishes, watches over, controls. He knew this. The children of Israel ate from the effects of that. You see, man has been sealed. He's been sealed by the Creator. And the Creator has sent forth a spirit. Keep in mind, God is invisible, no man. I was talking to a man the other day, and he says, I just can't seem to figure out how God, who I can't see, how God, who I can't see, expects me to love this man or this woman that I can see. I said, you need to sit down and contemplate what's being said. If he expects you to do it, then it can be done. He said, but I can't do it. I said, well, you're very close. You're very close to the kingdom because at least you realize you can't do it. And if you can't do it, who can help you do it? See? You need to go to him who can help you do it and say, help me do it. Because God, who is invisible, will show you how to do it through something that he made visible. What was it that he made visible? Me. Can you see it? God has one son, the only begotten, and he sent that one into visibility, which is the Christ, which inhabits every man. And although man is freeborn, he is not consciously aware of his dominion, and he lives a life caged by non-existent tyrants. Can I say that again? Man is freeborn. Why is he freeborn? Because he's born of God. He is born of the Spirit of God, and he is born of that Spirit that God, being invisible, made visible. Man is born of God as the Christ of God. I know this is going to stir up a lot of people. But man being born of the Christ, as in Corinthians it says to make of, I think it's Corinthians, I'm not sure, but it says to make of twain one new man. They both abide in the same vehicle. So God has sent forth his freeborn spirit into an existence that is freeborn, only awaiting what? Consciously, the recognition of who he is. And when coming into that understanding, he realizes that he has dominion over what? The works of God's hand. He is freed from that cage of non-existent tyrants. Wait a minute. Non-existent? How in the world can something that does not exist have dominion? You were raised with the puppy. You were raised with the puppy, and the puppy fooled you into thinking that he was all powerful. And if you didn't do what he said, he'd go kick you out of his daddy's house, right? Which would be the best thing that could ever happen to you. But we're caged by non-existent tyrants. Who are they? Ignorance and what? Fear. I'm afraid to speak the word to this situation out here because I'm fearful that it won't happen. So I will continually beg God to come and help me, and God is saying, no. I'm going to make you aware of your pedigree. Once I make you aware of your pedigree, nothing will deter you from your predetermined destination. Why? The angel of the Lord. See the things that you remind yourself of? For 'tis God that worketh with you. What would life be like if every time you got in the situation you reminded yourself that God is working with me? And that's how we started this. Neither be afraid, but be of a strong courage. Have I not commanded you? For the Lord thy God is with thee whithersoever thou goest. Remember, you're not trying to get rid of bad situations. Please don't ever take a situation and start to pray about it to get rid of it, because you have made it real by praying about it, that it go away. Well, wait a minute. If I'm always in the kingdom of heaven, is there a bad situation going on? No. And if the Christ is the representative of that kingdom, is the Christ not the visible expression that all is well? Now look at Jesus' life. Look at it, y'all. When the disciples of John the Baptist come to Jesus and they say, our master sent us, and he wants to know if you are the one that was to come, right? Last week, we went over this. All Jesus had to do was say what? Yep, I am he. But he didn't. He said, go show John. Wait a minute. How can I show John? How can I show John that the blind see, that the lame walk, that the deaf hear, that the dead are raised, and that the poor have the gospel? I can show that. But how can I do those other things? He didn't say, go tell John. He said, what? Go show John. They had witnessed these things. And Jesus said, you have been with me throughout my trials and tribulations, and you see these things happening. Now you go show John and pray that others are sent unto the harvest, because it is plenteous. Why is it plenteous? It's plenteous for me. I can't show you anything that I can't have seen or witnessed, right? But if I have witnessed it, I can show you. He said, go show John. Jesus has gone into the harvest, and Jesus has harvested the great life of God, the Spirit of God, and he comes back and he says, y'all seeing this? Yeah. Now y'all go. You go into the harvest. You do this. Do you have the courage? Are you willing to speak peace to someone? Are you willing to look at someone when they start to complaining about their life? Are you willing to look at them and say, you know, if you can believe that I come from God, then we can fix this right now? Yeah, I'm scared. I don't want to do that. Well, guess what? They gonna stay the way they stay. And you gonna stay the way you stay. Yeah, but I don't want to say that I can do something that I can't do. Then you're going to stay the way that you are, right? You remember the one when he came to Jesus and said, please help me. And Jesus said, do you believe I can do this? Did Jesus walk out on that limb? How scared are you? Yeah, I can feel it rumbling around in there. I feel it. But you know what I know it is? It's an illusion. It's that domesticated spirit trying to come to you saying, no, don't do that. Don't do that, because if you do that, you're going to get free of me. How do you wish that you could set any and everybody free from that tale they're telling you? You know the tale. They tell you it every day, don't they? Everybody you talk to, that's all they're talking about is how they're incarcerated, how they have been domesticated. And I'm saying, do you have the courage to look at them and say, you know what? If you can believe that God is with me right now, we can get rid of that for you right now. You haven't put yourself in a bad spot. Don't think you have. Because it's the spirit of the invisible God that is now awakened within you, and it is trying to take them back to the Father's house so that they can go show John. You should have felt some kind of a weight just lift up off your shoulder when I said that just then. It's not up to you to do anything but what? Believe on that spirit that God has sent. And how can you believe on that spirit that God has sent except it abide where? Within you. Well, do I have the courage? God created man in his image and likeness. You looking in the mirror? Come on now. Are you man? God created man. How? In his image. In his likeness. He imbued man with his life, his nature, his character. Stop, Rev. You backing me in a corner. I sure am. The works are not the works that you as a man think you're going to bring about. They're the understanding that the invisible God is making visible his spirit where? In man. His character, his qualities and quantities. Hagar is out here in the wilderness thinking that she and her son are going to die. And she sits her son over under a tree somewhere, and she goes off a bow's throw or a stone's throw away to sit down and die. But the Spirit of the Lord had told her before she got in that situation. What did it tell her? Your son is going to grow up to be a great nation. She forgot it. She forgot it. But the angel of the Lord, oh Lord have mercy, the angel of the Lord appears to her and he says, Hagar, why are you here? Wait a minute. Why am I here? In the natural, Sarah has kicked her out of the camp, right? So she's wandering around trying to find a place of comfort. I'm just out here, dude. Hello? That's what the natural looks like. I'm just out here. You asking me, why am I here? No, he's asking her, why don't you have the courage to remember, to keep yourself aware that the Lord thy God has made a promise to you, and the angel is with you whithersoever thou goest? Wherever? Yeah, wherever. And in remembering that promise, what happens? She looks and there is water, a spring. Where'd that come from? This is the life you're supposed to be living. Do you have the courage to let it come out here and express itself? Because every time you think you need help, what are you saying? That puppy just smacked you. Here you are. You ever seen the female lion? Let's don't even look at the male lion. Let's look at the female. You ever seen how big they are? How does a German shepherd compare? Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Forget the German shepherd. How does a poodle compare? Now, let's look at the male lion with his crown all around it. Can you imagine a poodle? Can you imagine them just, you know how dogs play? Can you imagine a lion playing with a poodle and just kind of hitting it with his paw and it goes slinging all? It's just that strong. You see, you got to have courage. And the courage is to believe when asked, Master, what shall we do? What can we do to do the things that you're doing? You ever ask that question about anything? What can I do to be that good? I'm reminded of a story that there's this famous actor. I don't know if it's really true or 100% true, but it came off as true. This famous actor, he's in all kinds of things. I won't even call his name, and you may even see this interview. But this other actor is in the room with him. And this famous actor asked this up and coming one, he says, who is your mentor? Who is training you to be an actor? And he called the man's name. And the famous actor says, you need to fire him. He says, it stung like you wouldn't believe. It stabbed me in my heart. He says, but I didn't let my ego go too far. So I looked at the famous actor and I said, thank you very much. I appreciate you giving me this advice. And the famous actor looked at him again and said, yeah, you need to hire somebody because what you doing ain't worth a hill of beans or something like that. He said, I was cut to the quick. He said, but guess what my response was? Y'all got any idea? He said, sir, would you be my mentor? Would you be my teacher? He said, the famous actor looked at him and said, you serious? He said, yes, sir, I am. Because I see your body of work. And you telling me that how I'm going is going to end up nowhere. So would you? And he said, yes, I will. I need you to be in New York a week from now and something. He says, okay, I'll be there. Now the interviewer comes in and says, you were willing to fire your teacher and get on a plane and leave from here and go to New York? He said, yeah. Yes, sir, because I wanted to be what this guy has. He says, when the famous actors realized that he was serious, he said, you're serious, aren't you? You going to come to New York? He said, yes, sir, I'll be there. And he says, you don't have to. And they set up times to meet with each other. Y'all getting my point? Do you have the courage to swallow your pride? Do you have the courage to realize that you might be ignorant in some areas that can be fixed? That your fear might be holding you, that you can swallow your ego and look at someone and say, you know what? Because I know that the presence of the Lord is here with me, it's also with you. And the Lord wants to do what with you? He wants you to have what I believe I have. That's what Jesus said. Pray. Pray that the Father would send workers into. Because the only way you ever going to be able to help anybody in any situation is to come to become the witness of it happening for you. Then can you only tell them. And you don't have to show them. All you have to do is just believe that you have been shown. And in believing that you have been shown, you can then show them. Man cannot succeed until he learns how to pray. I know I'm probably stirring up another. Because you're not going to find a Christian out there that's going to admit they don't know how to pray. You're not going to find one. They will argue you down, even knowing that their prayers are not working. They will argue you down and try to compare their prayer to yours and say, I know how to pray, but I'm here to make this statement. Man cannot succeed in his walk with God until he learns how to pray. And the first step to learning how to pray is to recognize what heaven is not. Man has a false concept of what heaven is, believing that he can bombard it with a lot of prayer requests and he can tithe and he can do this and he can turn to the east and he can do all these things. He believes he understands what heaven is, and he needs to understand that he doesn't know what heaven is. Once he comes to the place where he doesn't know what heaven is, then he can understand Jesus saying, the kingdom of heaven is not food, it's not meat, it's not drink. It is not something physical that you can lay your hands on. It is not a place where there are male and female. It's not a place where there's bond and free. And what's that other one? The kingdom of heaven, bond and free, male and female. I can't think of the other one, but look it up. It's not those things. I can't wait to get heaven when I get to see mama so-and-so. If there's no male and female there, I can't wait to get to heaven so I can see the free men. And if there's no bond or free, you must come to the understanding of what heaven is not. The kingdom of heaven cannot be seen with the natural eye. Jesus said, if they say it's over here, don't go. He said, if they say it's over there, don't go. He said, the kingdom of heaven is where? In the midst of you. It comes from within you. He says, if you are able to bring forth the kingdom of heaven, it will save you. Huh? Wait a minute. If I am able to bring forth the kingdom of heaven, it will save me. But if I am not able to bring it forth, I will be destroyed. Do you have the courage? I am willing to sit down with anyone who is saying, I really don't understand where you're coming from with this, and I'd like to go through the scriptures to see what's basing you to say these things. I will do it. Why? Because I realize that man does not know how to pray, and by inviting 50 million people to pray with him and God still not paying any attention to your prayer, something's wrong here. When man understands how to pray, and man understands his dominion, and one understands how he was created, and understand the qualities and the value and all of the things that are within him, he will realize that he is the holy treasure of God. Then and only then will he enable himself to enter. And Jesus says, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there you may be also. Where? With you always. Jesus is saying, I go into this dimensional realm that is where God exists. And in that is every good thing that is a good thing for mankind. Their man will see that he is imbued with the character of God. Their man will see that he has the qualities of God. Their man will see he has the quantities of God. Their man will see that he is created in the image and likeness of God. Their man will see that he is imbued with the life of God, which Jesus said, knowing God right is life eternal. Their man will realize that where he is, I will be with you always. I will be with you where? Always. Wherever you are. And they went forth. And they preached everywhere. Why? Because they had the courage. They had the courage to sit down and ask themselves, do I have the courage to believe this? And I'm just going to throw this in here. You ever thought about something, but you kept telling yourself, I'm not going to say anything about it? But you just kept thinking about it. But I'm not going to say anything about it. I'm going to keep it to myself. But you kept thinking about it. And before you knew it, what was happening? You were talking about it. Because within you was that desire to talk about it. And your better self was saying, leave it alone. Just sit up. But you couldn't sit on it, could you? Because you wanted somebody to know how you felt about a situation. Well, this is what they did in Mark 16 and 20. They contemplated the presence of God until they got the courage to do what? Go forth and preach everywhere, knowing that they were going to contact resistance. Can you see this? You go out here preaching the truth, I guarantee you, you're going to meet with resistance. Why? Because everybody out there already thinks they know the truth. And here you coming with some newfangled something, and they're going, that's not the way it is. Because see, you got to put your hand on your head, pat yourself 6 times on your head, and rub your stomach in the opposite direction, and kick your foot left and kick your foot right. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They're going to tell you how it's got to be, and you're going to stand there and go, okay, I think I'm going to move on. But as you move on, what did you leave with them? Boy, you done gone nuts. Got it? You see it? And they're going to go tell everybody, you out here. And they said, did he pat himself on the head and did he rub? No. Yeah, And they went forth and they preached everywhere. The Lord, this is the most important. The Lord working with them and confirming the word with signs following. Let me ask you a question. Who's doing the work? The Father is doing the work. You have nothing to be ashamed of or to be fearful of, because you have contemplated the word to the point where you have to talk about it, and the Lord working with them and confirming with signs following. Go show John. Do you have the courage?